see how a man who lost everything rose higher than before. Andre was doing well. He worked on a construction site in London. He had a beautiful home and a stable job. He was loved by his colleagues and respected by his bosses. And at home, his wife and children were waiting for him. In the evenings, he would call them and say that everything he did was for them. He was a fulfilled and content man. But one day, everything changed. On a London site, he climbed the scaffolding to help a colleague and a plank broke. He fell from a great height, and the impact with the ground was terrible. When he woke up in hospital, he no longer knew who he was, and the doctor said gravely that he had lost his memory and no one knew if it would ever return. His wife stayed at his bedside for a few months, but the exhaustion and the lack of hope made her leave. His friends in London stopped visiting. His colleagues from the site never came again, and one neighbor even said one day that Andre was no longer good for anything. He was left alone in an empty bed with lost memories. He began to relearn everything from the beginning. Walking felt like climbing a mountain, and even the spoon would fall from his hand. People looked at him with pity, and others laughed. Yet in his heart a decision was born. If I have forgotten everything, then I will learn again. Day after day he repeated the steps. He fell and got hurt. He bled, but he stood up again and again. What strength of work he had. One evening, as he staggered down a street in London, a group of children surrounded him and shouted that he was the amnesiac of the town. He felt a deep pain, but at the same time a new force, and he told himself that he would not stop there. He started sweeping people's yards for a few coins. An old man saw him and asked him to help in his store, and Andre accepted. Even though he moved with difficulty, he carried boxes, he cleaned the floor, he arranged the shelves, and the old man was amazed and said he had never seen someone so serious. Little by little he was called to a warehouse near the site. There he worked hard, and the boss asked him to carry sacks. At first it seemed impossible, but Andre lifted them one by one. His colleagues laughed and said he would not last a week, but he lasted. One day, when a lorry was about to tip its load onto a worker, Andre jumped and pulled him away in time, and everyone was speechless. His memory never returned, but his life slowly rebuilt itself. He learned to write again, and noted on paper simple things, such as that he had lifted a sack or that he had walked 2 kilometers. They were small joys, but real ones. Years passed, and Andre rose in his position. From laborer, he became a team leader, and then a site manager in London. He knew what it meant to fall and to rise again, so he encouraged everyone and told them that he had lost everything, yet still gained more. And if he had succeeded, so could they. He bought a house larger than the one he once had, and he found his family again, who came back to him amazed at his strength to be reborn. The people who had abandoned him now looked at him with respect. The friends who had forgotten him now greeted him with awe. The one the world had called a finished man had risen higher than ever before, and it had all begun on a construction site in London. What would you have done if you were in Andre's place after he'd lost his memory?